to the service of universal peace by the United Nations or on purpose. In the meantime, we are to prohibit and eliminate these weapons. Finally,
Your Excellencies, I thank you for this opportunity to share the views of my countrymen on an issue that cuts very close to the heart of everyone in Fiji and the Pacific. Fiji congratulates the United Nations for setting aside one day each year to bring worldwide attention to the need to eliminate nuclear weapons permanently. Your Excellencies, the Pacific region has suffered the human and environmental consequences of more than 300 nuclear tests conducted since the end of the Second World War. These tests were conducted by powerful governments many thousands of kilometers away. They considered our corner of the globe to be a safe place to test nuclear weapons. They knew of the destructive power of these weapons and the long-lasting environmental contamination and health crisis they caused. That is why they didn't conduct atmospheric testing closer to their own homes. They chose an area that they deemed to be largely uninhabited. It was not uninhabited, Your Excellencies, of course, so some people had to be relocated. Even today, large areas of the Pacific remain unsafe for habitation, unsafe for agricultural production, and of course, unsafe unsafe for fishing. Whole communities and cultures remain permanently displaced, and islanders remain disconnected from their traditional way of life. Your Excellencies, Fiji has not only spoken against nuclear weapons, but has fully supported measures to ban them. We are signatory to the South Pacific Nuclear Free Zone Treaty, which bans the use, testing, and possession of nuclear weapons in the Pacific. Fiji is also party to the Non-Proliferation Treaty and was one of its early signatories. Fiji has also signed and ratified the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, which is not yet in force. In 2017, Fiji was one of the early signatories of the treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. Your Excellencies, we understand that Fiji's accession to these treaties does not put even one nuclear weapon out of commission. Nor could anyone credibly think that Fiji might want to acquire nuclear weapons. But we are deeply concerned about the future of humanity. We need to take a firm stand against any cooperation or even indirect actions that would make it easier to produce, transport, or deploy nuclear weapons. We believe all nations need to take responsibility to guarantee a safe environment and a secure future for our children. And we will do so as a cornerstone of our international engagement. We will do so in matters of nuclear non-proliferation, as well as in the fight against climate change, or the efforts to keep the peace and stop the spread of intolerance, terrorism, and warfare. Your Excellencies, in 2015, my government decided to right a grievous injustice done to Fijian military members serving under British command in areas of nuclear testing in the Pacific. They received no compensation for all the illnesses they suffered from nuclear fallout and other exposure. So my government set aside 2.5 million Fijian dollars as a compensation fund for those remaining and for the survivors of those who died prematurely. I say this not to cast blame or keep resentments burning more than 50 years after the test. There is no room in this conversation for bitterness, and we all have learned a great deal since those tests. I say this simply to point out that some human beings are still paying the price of that dark chapter in our history those many years ago. Excellencies, we will continue to appeal to all nuclear weapon states to working towards the goals of the Non-Proliferation Treaty in pursuit of complete and total disarmament. And we appeal equally to non-nuclear states to resist a mentality that says that a nation can demand international respect with a nuclear weapons program. We Fijians believe that the better way to gain stature and respect in the world is to build a political system that produces a just and honest government, and to never lose sight of the things that make a society great: tolerance, freedom, equality, opportunity, justice, and an abiding passion to pursue the common good. Thank you.